Okay, let's dive in. Forget wading through textbooks or, endless grammar rules for a minute.
Yeah.
Today, we're getting straight to the good stuff, the actual words people use.
Uh-huh.
Every single day.
Yeah.
In real conversations.
Exactly. We've got this fascinating source material. It's a transcript from a practice English conversation session.
And it's just packed with practical, ready-to-use phrases, stuff you can actually use.
Think of it as a treasure trove of verbal tools. Our mission, really, is to go through it.
Mm-hmm.
Pull out the most essential phrases, understand the simple structure of how these conversations flow,
Right.
and kind of uncover the underlying advice this transcript offers on how to get better at speaking, not just what to say.
Exactly. We want to give you a direct path, maybe a shortcut, to feeling more comfortable, more confident when you're just chatting in English.
Yeah, whether you're asking for directions, grabbing a coffee.
Talking about your day, making plans, all that everyday stuff.
So this deep dive is about finding those key phrases and those smart learning tips hidden right inside this practice session.
Yeah. Let's uncover those verbal tools.
Okay.
So where does any conversation even begin? I mean, really start.
Well, our source material, this practice transcript, it starts right at the very beginning. The greeting,
Obvious, maybe?
maybe, but it emphasizes the simplest things. Phrases you hear 100 times a day, like, hi, how are you?
Or, hey, what's up?
Right. And the source specifically calls these out as simple and natural ways to start a conversation.
And I think that's key, recognizing that the building block is this incredibly common, basic exchange.
Yeah. Getting this right first is just crucial.
It really is. If you can master those first few moments, the greeting, the simple response like, I'm good, thanks. How about you?
Or I'm doing well.
Yeah, you immediately set a comfortable tone. It kind of opens the door for everything else that follows.
It's the foundation, isn't it?
Definitely. Okay, so foundation laid. Now, imagine you're in a new city, or even just navigating your own town sometimes. You need help.
Right. Finding something, getting somewhere.
This source provides some absolutely essential phrases for that, for navigating and asking for help.
It gives direct examples that are incredibly practical, like, excuse me, can you help me find the nearest bus stop?
Polite, clear. Tell someone exactly what you need.
Exactly. And then it models the follow-up, too. So if someone asks you, where do you want to go?
Oh, right.
You have a simple, direct answer ready, something like, I want to go to the city center.
The source notes this phrase is very useful.
And you can immediately see why. It just cuts to the chase.
Absolutely. These aren't just phrases for a textbook. They're like verbal keys, unlocking help when you actually need it.
Mm-hmm. Having these ready in your mind lets you interact effectively when you're out there, navigating the real world.
Okay, so moving from navigating places to navigating daily life transactions.
Yeah, the source covers common interactions like buying things or ordering food.
And it keeps the structure really simple, polite.
Yeah, think about ordering coffee. Hi, can I have a medium coffee, please?
And then adding a detail maybe.
Right, with milk and sugar.
Yeah.
Simple add-on.
What's interesting is that the source repeats these types of phrases. It shows how a basic request structure, can I have X please, is super versatile.
It calls this pattern easy and polite, and you see it right there in action.
Right, and then for shopping, it gives you those crucial questions you absolutely need.
Yeah, how much does this cost? Obviously.
And do you have this in a different size? Also very common.
But there's one, the source flags, it calls it very important.
Which one?
Can I try this on?
Yeah, you immediately get why that's called out, especially for clothes shopping.
Exactly. Being able to ask about price, size, and trying something on, well, that covers most interactions you'll have in a store, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
These phrases give you the confidence to handle those commercial situations. No sweat. Okay, beyond buying things, the source material spends a good amount of time on something really fundamental. Just talking about yourself.
Your daily life, your routine.
Yeah, it provides phrases that kind of paint a picture of a typical day, like describing your morning.
Right. I usually wake up at 7 a.m. or then I exercise for 30 minutes.
Or I like to meditate and then have breakfast, stuff like that.
And then how the day unfolds. After that, I check my emails and get ready for work, or for lunch, I often eat a sandwich or salad.
And the source gives variations here, doesn't it? Like the simpler versions.
It does. I wake up early, I exercise every morning, I eat lunch at noon, I start work at 9 a.m. They're all just simple ways to state your actions.
And it even includes phrases for the evening routine.
Yeah, describing how you wind down. I read a book or listen to calm music.
And acknowledging a common habit.
I check my phone sometimes, but I try not to, which is relatable.
Very. Using these simple phrases to describe your routine. It's such a common way people share information, connect a little bit.
It's not complex language, but it's essential for letting someone into your world. Just a little.
Okay, so the deep dive into daily life keeps going. It covers personal interests, too.
Hobbies, how you spend free time, even staying healthy.
And the source highlights that talking about hobbies is, what was the word? Important.
Yeah, and it gives a great reason why. They help you relax and also give you topics to talk about with others.
That's the link. Hobbies are a natural conversation starter. Makes sense.
Absolutely. Phrases like, I like reading books and watching movies, or I like playing basketball and listening to music, they're springboards.
Or you could just say, I like ad, and fill in your own hobby. Simple.
And it covers how you relax more generally. I usually relax, watch movies, or go for a walk in the park.
Right. And staying healthy is another topic that often comes up, doesn't it?
Yeah, and the source gives simple phrases for describing habits. I eat balanced meals and exercise regularly.
Or I also make sure to drink plenty of water.
Mm-hmm.
Basic stuff.
It throws in variations too, like I eat healthy food, I exercise every day, and just states flat out, water is important.
And it shows how to ask the question back, right?
Yep. What do you do to stay healthy? Turns it into a conversation.
They even get specific about types of exercise people do.
Yeah. I like jogging in the park, or I prefer cycling.
Or even shorter versions.
Yeah.
I go jogging, I ride my bike.
And linking it to the benefit. Exercise keeps me healthy, which is a nice touch.
And again, providing the question, what kind of exercise do you do?
So these sections really show that everyday conversation is often built on sharing these simple, relatable details. Personal interests, staying well, free time.
Yeah, they're easy ways to find common ground with someone. No big deal. Just chatting.
Exactly.
Okay, building on sharing those personal details,
Yeah.
the source gives us tools for actually connecting with others. Making plans.
Right. It provides really straightforward ways to invite someone or just check if they're free. Phrases like, do you want to grab lunch tomorrow? Or are you free this weekend?
Simple, direct. The source calls them simple and natural.
Which they are. And it goes further too, providing a basic phone call example.
Yeah, I saw that. It shows the simple structure.
Yeah, how to answer. Hello, this is Jake speaking. How to ask for someone. Can I speak to Emma, please?
Identifying yourself. Hi, Jake, it's Emma. And then getting to the point.
Right. Are you free to meet tomorrow? Just arranging something quickly.
And it even includes a bit on eating out.
Yeah, a mini section giving you phrases for navigating that whole experience. Asking for the menu. Hi, can I see the menu, please?
Ordering. I'd like to order the chicken salad. Simple request.
Specifying a drink. Just water, thanks. Easy.
And the source also includes phrases for talking about food you like, doesn't it?
It does. I like Italian food. Pasta's my favorite. I love sushi. Sharing preferences.
And of course, asking the other person, what's your favorite restaurant? Keep the conversation going.
These examples really show how you can use simple phrases to handle the practicalities. Arranging social stuff, talking on the phone, ordering in a restaurant.
Yeah, they cover common scenarios you're definitely going to encounter.
For sure.
Okay, this transcript also dips into sharing preferences and opinions, which is interesting. Starting with that classic, universally accessible topic,
The weather.
the weather. Always a safe bet.
It provides phrases for just simple observations. It's a sunny day today. Or, looks like it might rain.
The source calls these perfect for small talk.
And they absolutely are. Everyone experiences the weather, right? No prior knowledge needed.
Right. You don't need any shared history or deep knowledge. Variations like, it's sunny today, it's raining, it's cold outside.
And the simple question, what's the weather like today? Or even just, what's the weather like? Easy entry points.
And then it expands from weather to sharing likes and dislikes on other common topics.
Yeah, things like holidays, movies, music, food, seasons. The pattern is often pretty similar. Well, you state what you like, maybe add a simple reason why, and then you ask the other person about their preference.
Okay, give me an example. Like, for holidays.
Right. I love Christmas, the decorations and food are wonderful, or maybe I enjoy New Year's Eve, it's full of excitement.
And then the question,
What's your favorite holiday? It's a straightforward way to find shared interests or just learn something about them.
and the structure applies across different topics in the source.
Yeah, the source shows it for movies. I like comedies, they make me laugh. Or I enjoy action movies, they're exciting.
With that little insight, movies are a great way to relax.
Right. And then asking, what kind of movies do you like?
Or music.
Same pattern. I like pop music. It's energetic. I prefer jazz. It's relaxing, connecting it personally. Music helps me relax.
And asking, what kind of music do you like?
These sections are valuable because they demonstrate how sharing simple preferences and asking about others is just a fundamental social interaction.
Yeah, it's how you discover what you have in common. Basic connecting.
Exactly.
Now, this next section is particularly relevant, for anyone listening who is learning English.
Yeah. The source material directly addresses talking about learning and self-improvement, especially language learning.
It models a conversation about the actual experience.
It does. It touches on the challenges. Like there's a dialogue where someone says they sometimes get stuck on pronunciation.
Which is a very relatable problem.
Totally. And then it pivots to effective strategies, things gleaned from the speaker's own experiences in the transcript.
Like what?
They talk about practicing every day by listening and repeating, and how listening to real conversations helps a lot.
That's a powerful insight from this source, isn't it? The emphasis on exposure to natural speech.
Yeah, getting used to the flow and rhythm of English. They really encourage active listening, repeating.
And not being afraid of mistakes. That comes up too.
Definitely. And crucially, the source gives you phrases to talk about your own learning journey. I am learning English. I practice every day. Or I am learning a new language. And acknowledging the feeling. It is difficult but enjoyable.
And the question to ask others, are you learning any languages?
Right. And this whole theme isn't just limited to languages in the source, it extends it.
To learning other skills.
Exactly. What new skill are you learning? With examples like, I'm learning how to cook, or I'm trying to learn photography.
And it acknowledges common methods today, like online learning.
I like online courses. They're flexible. Someone else agrees. Same here. You can learn anytime.
And the simple phrases, I learn online. Courses are flexible. I study at home.
And asking about it. Do you take online classes?
It even includes practical topics often connected to like personal development or goals.
Yeah, managing stress. What do you do when you feel stressed? Or preparing for interviews. How do you prepare for an interview?
Right. So these sections give you the actual language to talk about your personal growth, the challenges you face, the strategies you use.
It's directly applicable to your experience as a learner and just as a person trying new things.
Okay, looking ahead. The source also equips us with phrases for talking about future plans. Simple stuff.
Yeah, very simple structure for asking and answering. What are your plans for next week?
And responses like, I'm going to a conference and then visiting friends.
Or maybe, I'm working but hope to relax on the weekend.
Just straightforward ways to state what you're doing or planning to do in the near future.
Exactly. I'm going to a conference. I'm visiting friends. I'm working next week. Sharing simple intentions.
Got it. And finally, the source touches on travel. Always a good topic.
A perennial favorite for conversation. It starts broad. Do you like traveling?
Leading to common responses like, yes. I love exploring new places and trying new foods. Classic.
Sharing experiences is key here, like me too. Last year I went to Spain, it was amazing.
And the phrases you can use are simple again. I like to travel. I enjoy visiting new countries. My favorite place is the beach.
And asking others, where do you like to travel? Or sharing, I visited.
What's really great here, I thought, is the source explicitly connects travel to language learning.
Yeah, it says traveling is a great way to practice English too, which is so true.
And phrases like, traveling helps me learn, new cultures are interesting.
And asking, have you traveled recently?
It even gets down to the nuts and bolts, like packing.
Right. What do you usually pack when you travel?
And responses might include specific items. I always pack comfortable clothes, a book, and my charger. You know, the essentials.
Or I also take a camera to capture memories. And the simplest phrase is, I pack clothes, I bring a book, I don't forget my charger.
And asking the question back, what do you pack for trips?
Talking about travel lets you share experiences, discuss preferences for destinations, even get into planning. It's a really rich area for conversation.
And the source gives you the basic tools to jump in.
Precisely. So, okay, having explored all these specific phrases and topics from the source material, let's maybe zoom out a bit.
Yeah, what's the overarching message? About learning, about practice. That keeps coming up.
Well, the speakers in the transcript, they return to several core ideas again and again.
They really hammer home the methodology, don't they? They say things like, remember, the key is consistency.
Yes. And to make it feel manageable, they add, Just a few minutes a day can make a big
So it's
difference.
not about needing huge blocks of time. That's encouraging.
Right. And crucially, they address that fear of getting it wrong
Oh.
by saying, it's okay to make mistakes. Practice makes perfect.
Standard advice, but important to hear.
And perhaps the most encouraging piece, I think, is every mistake is a step toward improvement.
Ah, that reframes it nicely. Mistakes aren't failures, they're progress.
Exactly. It reframes mistakes as necessary parts of the whole process.
And they're practical advice on how to practice these specific phrases we've talked about.
It's straightforward. Keep listening, keep repeating, and try using these sentences in your real life.
Listen, repeat, use.
That's the distilled wisdom from the source, really. It's not just about having the list of phrases.
Right.
It's about the active, consistent process of getting comfortable with them. Listening helps you hear the natural flow, the rhythm.
Repeating builds that muscle memory in your mouth.
Yeah, and trying them out in real life. That's where the learning truly solidifies. That's the real practice.
So this whole deep dive into what seems like a simple practice conversation transcript, it's actually revealed a whole toolkit.
Yeah, everyday phrases covering greetings, navigation, daily transactions, personal life, interests, planning, travel, the works.
But more than that, it's highlighted the source's really powerful, simple advice.
Start with the basics, use simple language, and most importantly, practice consistently.
Listen, repeat, use.
Use these phrases in your actual interactions. That's the key takeaway.
It really emphasizes that conversational fluency. Well, it isn't built overnight with complex grammar rules.
No, it's built phrase by phrase, simple interaction by simple interaction.
It shows that these common, relatable exchanges are really the backbone of connecting with people in English.
Absolutely.
Okay, so based on this source's really strong emphasis on consistent practice, on listening, repeating, and trying to use phrases in real life, here's something maybe to consider.
Okay.
Maybe the most powerful tool you gain isn't just knowing these specific phrases we've discussed, but the quiet confidence you build simply by having the courage to try any phrase, one simple conversation at a time.